What's the mood like, Rowan? What's the mood been like after Saturday's defeat?
It's been disappointing. We didn't play as well as we'd liked, and we've missed a chance to do our best performance to try and progress in that competition. We certainly missed a chance there. We were right in it, and even at 10-6, we had an unfortunate call go against us, which we weren't good enough to recover from.
And obviously, you mentioned after the game, it gives you that narrow focus now. Is that helpful in a way that you now know there's only one thing to go for?
Well, I think that'll probably hit home more when the next round of the Cup comes through, where we're missing out. This week was always going to be about Cass alone anyway, so I don't think much changes this week, but obviously our planning and scheduling over the next couple of months will change now that we have some spare weekends.
How's Momorowski pulled through?
He's not too bad. He was obviously hampered a little bit during the game, but he was sore after the game. He's not too bad today. He's having a scan this afternoon to sort of check the extent of the damage, and then that'll sort of give us the best indication of the path forward.
Would you expect him to be in contention for this week?
I'm not sure. Like he's recovered okay. It'll really depend on what the result of the scan says. Ankles can be tricky at times. They sometimes feel okay, but they're not very functional. But yeah, the scan will determine the process forward there.
Has Fussatua got a chance for this week?
No.
Is he imminent or?
He's going well. I think it was 6 to 8 week surgery. This week, I think later in this week it'll be 5 weeks, or maybe 6. He's under. It'll be under time, under 6 weeks if he was to play this week. So he's not yet done enough work anyway. He's going in the right direction, and he's in good shape and feeling really good about his knee.
And do you know if you've had any charges at all?
No, we haven't. No charges.
Well, that's good. That's one good thing anyway, isn't it? Just picking up on what you said after the game. Obviously, you mentioned about the sort of ruck infringements, etc. You sort of said if you can't beat them, join them, sort of thing. Were you being flippant, or were you being sort of earnest in that?
Well, I think the fans and the game itself spoke about wanting a quicker game and a more entertaining game, but in the end, it's about results. So if the game's slow, then we'll have to join it, and slow it down. I also don't know. I don't know if Phil has started in his new role officially yet. So there may be some changes in the referees as we go under the new regime. But at the moment, we need to join it.
And is it a frustration that the players are relaying to you that they can't really get the game going? Because everyone will know Leeds play better when they play fast.
We're not looking for anything that we don't deserve, but there was some obvious flops that impacted the game, and the crowd are the ones that missed out, and you can hear the frustration amongst the fans. So but it is what it is. We've got to play the game as it's adjudicated, and we've clearly got plenty of scope to improve our performance, irrelevant of the officiating.
Obviously, Easter's here, and it's not the sort of 3 games in 7 days that we once had. Does that feel like a bit of a bonus these days?
Well, I think common sense finally prevailed there. It's a 5-6 day turnaround is still still a tough battle at times for some players to recover fully. So getting rid of that 3 or 4 day turnaround is common sense and player welfare being exercised.
Yeah, it does seem crazy, doesn't it? What's your take on Castleford then?
Yeah, I've watched all their games this year, and they've competed really well in some of the games despite the scoreline, and really challenged the opposition with some of their shapes and the plays that they've been putting on. It hasn't all stuck for them, but they've definitely challenged and stretched a lot of teams, and the score definitely hasn't been reflective of performance in lots of cases, I think. So we're prepared for a tough, hard battle on a small pitch on a Thursday night, and it's probably be raining and all of that stuff. So we know it's going to be a rugged battle.
And the atmosphere down there as well, that's quite a special one for them, isn't it, certainly?
Yeah, I think everyone, I think the away players actually enjoy a bit of the banter and a bit of, being under pressure and being close to the noise. And that's, one of the real, draw cards, I guess, of the English game is the crowd being right on top of the pitch and adding to the atmosphere. So it's something that we'll embrace.
You mentioned there about Weldon Road and the unique atmosphere it has. The away dressing room is pretty unique as well.
Well, I don't know. There's a few of those getting around the English game still, isn't there?
Yeah, I mean, when you sort of first got here, you sort of looking at going, right, we're here. Is it one of you have to sort of make the most of it rather than sort of complain about what isn't there?
Oh yeah, yeah. In the end, we're playing on the same pitch, and we look forward to getting out there to battle. It's all the other stuff is irrelevant.
You mentioned before about frustration, more about the crowd and the slowing the game down, but is frustration maybe sort of the team's performances and the results sort of being shown as well, maybe from the terraces?
I'm not sure. I'm not on the terraces, so I don't know what the banter is on the terrace. We haven't played at the level that we know we can, but most of the battles we've had at Headingley, if we're talking about the terraces there, this season we've competed really well and we've been right in the picture against strong opposition. So there's been a lot more to like than dislike so far this year.
Does that frustrate you that you perhaps not perform to the level that you know you can do?
I don't think any team plays at their best every week, or a level that they're satisfied with. Everyone's always trying to play better. We're a work in progress. We're getting to know each other as a team and how we want to be identified and how we want to go about it. We want to play better for longer, but we haven't been too far off. We've been defeated by St Helens 2 weeks in a row, which is there's no real there's not a lot to dislike about the bulk of our performance, particularly in the league match. And even last week, I think the cup game wasn't the same standard overall from both teams. I don't think it had the same intensity or speed, but St Helens were clearly the better team on that day. But the week before, I'm not sure. We want to play better for longer, no doubt, but that's a work in progress, and we're going to work hard at that.
And just lastly on the Easter schedule, I mean, it is good that we're back to one game. As a coach, how would you have even approached playing Friday and Monday, 2 games in 3-4 days?
I think it's the one time a year, if you were playing a few games in close proximity, that you have to think about rotating or resting players if needed. But it's not something we have to worry about.
Matt Frawley's come in for a fair bit of flack in recent days. What's your take on his early form for Leeds?
I think he's been solid. On the weekend, there were some moments for sure that he could have done differently or done better. But I think he's contributed to a good vibe around our group. And at stages we've played some really good, composed, smart footy. So he's certainly been a part of that. As I said before, we're a work in progress as a team unit, and we need to get better quickly. But we haven't been too far away from it. Against some of the better teams as well in the competition.
Will he be given all the time he needs then to bed in fully? There's no thought of breaking up that partnership, maybe bringing in a Sinfield or...
No, not at all. No, we're committed to the players that we've got in our spine, and they'll be working hard to play well this week.
Yeah, just touching on that frustration, it seems to be the fact that the fans perceive that you're not any close to St Helens than you or traditional rivals St Helens. Have you seen signs of progress closing that gap?
I think the league and the cup are obviously two different things. The league is about accumulating results to give yourself a chance to win the playoffs at the end of the season. And if you win a game in round 5, doesn't guarantee that you're going to be in a better position to win later in the season. The cup is obviously find a way to get a result at all costs, and we didn't. We got beaten by a drop ball that led to a try, a kick that wasn't a kick, and then a deflection that sort of took the score out of contention on the weekend. Now, the better team clearly won on the day, but we were right in both of those battles. What we've shown, our best footy this year is better than it was last year. And I also believe some of the teams we've played against early days this year are actually better than they were last year too. So, it's a work in progress, but it's a week-to-week proposition, and it's all about getting better this week.
Yeah. Obviously, we're Leeds fans. Patience is in short supply after recent failings, yet the expectations remain the same. Is that something you have to accept when you're wearing the Rhinos badge?
Of course, we expect to play well, and we go into every game thinking we can win. Nothing changes there. The outside beliefs and expectations are out of our control, and that's not something that I give any attention to.
You just mentioned that. I don't want to push you on referees or anything, but you just mentioned the kick that wasn't a kick. Are you referring to I think it was the second try scored by Saints, and do you feel that was a knock on?
Yeah, I do. You can see by the reaction of all the players, but there was no video ref, so those close calls can they go either way.
Last couple of games you've had a back on the bench. Can you explain the thinking behind that? I don't think Lewis got on last Friday, did he? And Alfie got a few minutes the week before.
Yeah, I've mentioned that in a few interviews that Reece Martin is usually our back when he's playing in the second row. He can adjust to centre, and we can shuffle around to cover any injuries or issues in the backs. But with Reece playing centre, and the way the game is sort of adjudicated on with yellow and red cards, that covering the backs, I think, is important. Paul Momorowski had his ankle jammed up in a tackle, so in the end I didn't put Lewis on. Paul was able to finish the game, but at the back end of the game, when I was and ahhing about putting Lewis on, I wanted to make sure that Lewis was fine and ready to go should Paul not be available this week. So that was the choices around that.
And just on, you've mentioned a few times not being at the level you want to be at this stage. How can you quantify how far off you think you are at the moment?
We're always going to be striving to improve. We've played well in some matches, and everyone wants to talk about how well we've played and how we're better than we were last year. And then the moment there's a result go the other way, everyone wants to go, oh, well, maybe not as good as last year. Like, nobody wins every game. You go into the game to give it your best, take some wins out of it, and you move forward.